Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well fellas, today I'm back on the 460 E7 heads, and this is what I'm trying to get done now, guys. I cleaned them up and they look a little bit better. I have them down to the bare casting, and then they started rusting back up, of course, but they're better than they were. And what I've done here, fellas, I marked these ports because I decided to do a video on these heads because to me these cakes are just a piece of cake to do, and anybody can do them. I see guys they're still getting scared off of trying to port heads themselves because they're worried about percentages in the throat, and people's making it too crucial for an average guy to want to try to do a pair of heads himself. So I'm going to try to kind of put an end to that. So what I did today, guys, is this. I went and bought a regular drill because I know what it's like. Guys are like, well, I don't have all them tools. I can't afford to buy certain bits and all the stuff you need. You see these guys using all kinds of high dollar stuff to port with, and then you think, where do I get the money to do that? Okay guys, here it is. $20 drill. I think it's actually under $20 because I think I had a $20 drill and put it back. I think this one was like $14. So if it lasts me just enough to do this job, $14, I believe it was. Then these here guys, Harbor Freight. Instead of you guys having to worry about buying all these carbide bits and double cuts and everything, this is for you fellas. And these Harbor Freight, I think they're like 20, 22, sometimes they're 25, depending when you go in there. You know how that goes. But getting back to these heads, guys, the reason I got excited about these is that half the things that we normally do, performance, are already done to these heads, basically. And it's mostly here, like a lot of the tricks of the trade, I showed in one of the videos with the P heads, GTP heads. We cut it back here and angle it down to the valve. And these are very low. Now the Dove heads have a real high lift here, so it hinders the flow. And that's what we're after. We're after to get that air to move. But there's not a lot to do here, guys. I did it in pink, hoping it would show up for you. And as you can see right here, it goes up. There's a hump more here than here. So all you want to do is level this out. And for anybody that's really not trying to set the world on fire, if you just want to do a pair of these heads up just for a little bit of extra performance, you don't have to worry about this stuff. This is for guys that are trying to get everything you can out of them. Also, they have a ridge around here, the combustion chamber, that you cut back. But guys, that's where all this stuff comes in. Right here. These kind of things here work really good as far as contouring that. For somebody that's never done heads, the only thing you have to really be careful about is your seats. And, excuse me fellas, coughing again. Anyway, there's several ways to protect your seats, guys. You might have a better idea than I do. But what you could do is get yourself some gasket. Any kind of gasket material. As long as it's not one that is like prone to fuel and everything, because that sticks harder. It's harder to get off. So if you get something like for water pumps and stuff like that, you just put it around your seats, let it harden up, and then if you happen to hit your seat, you don't have to worry about it. Not as much. You don't have to worry about tearing it up instantly. You always got to be careful. But anyway, guys, I wanted to show where you're going to have your problems with these heads, and it's not much. I usually start with the exhaust, but we'll start on the intake side. This is my port. As usual, fellas, this is going on the higher RPM side. But anybody that has a truck, low RPM vehicle, you're in luck, fellas, because there's very small cleanup to do to these. Very little. If you're going to have like a four-wheel drive truck, a mud truck with no gear, like as far as around the guide, this is mine for the higher RPM application, and I cut it down and just for more bowl area. And I did a wet flow test on these, and there's really not a lot you need to do to these, even if you were just to clean these up around the boss. If you have a low RPM vehicle, there's no need to really do it, except to just to taper it in a little bit. And one thing you want to do, guys, on the short turn, leave it rough. Don't be smoothing that out on the short turn. That's not going to do you any good, except probably cost you about 5 horsepower. And I'm just going to show you guys what I did first, and I'll go into it. We're showing you how it might be easy for you to do these as yourself. But there's my exhaust, and I don't know if you can see. Let's see if I get the light here. It ramps up nice. I took the guide completely out, and then what I do was I kind of did one for you guys. This would be a standard type port for an average port job, the one with the pink. And the reason the pink's on these fellas, these are the areas that you want to worry about right here. Like on the intake side, just level this back here. You don't really want to do much here because it actually hinders the flow. If you go back too much in here, it actually hinders the flow. I'm sorry, guys, I'm trying to do this and look through the phone, and it's hard. It's really a mess trying to do these segments like this here. Until I get a GoPro or something, you guys are going to have to bear with me. I'm sorry about that, but there's not a lot I can do about it right now. It's aggravating. But that would be the port. And believe it or not, guys, this would be good as far as the exhaust goes. It would still be fine for a street strip. And I wanted to show you guys this. And I'm wondering which one of my smart guys are going to understand this here. I raised the port. And you'll say, well, it don't really look raised that much this time. Well, one of you guys are really smart. You're going to pick up on it, but I epoxied it up here, fellas. Because I know if I showed this on this segment, somebody said, you ruined that port. That port has nothing there to seal the gasket with, and you guys know about that when I go through. So that's already been thought out. And that's just a 5-minute job right here, just to give you guys an idea of what I do. And anyway, fellas, what I want to do now, I wanted to show you how simple these are to do. And as far as the bowl goes, they have to be done on both sides right here. They have a very big ridge right here. And that's mainly what you have to worry about. And you want to take care of that first before you worry about doing any work to the guide. Because it actually helps keep you in the kind of in the middle of the bowl, and it helps keep the straight, helps keep you straight going in here. Sorry fellas, I'm trying to look at this and it's hard. But anyway guys, have this on here, and all you want to do is worry about one end at a time. Like I said, it's like that on both sides, but if you can see. Another thing you can do, fellas, is just make sure that your discs are on there well, because if you don't, it will make it jump around. And even how you hold the drill a certain way will make it jump. So just run at low speed. Don't be in a hurry. And just take it out of the loads right here. Don't try to grind too fast. I hope you can see. I'm going right up against the guide, fellas. I'm letting it ride right on the guide, so that way it doesn't go all around and back and forth and everything. Just hold a little bit of pressure down and move it back and forth a little bit. You don't want to stay in one spot, but you don't want to let it get carried away when it jumps around on you and hit the seat on you either. And don't worry about doing anything else but removing this. While you're doing this, fellas, don't get carried away and start thinking about the top. Just concentrate on what you're doing, just one area at a time. That's what gets guys in trouble. They start wandering around and then trying to move up to the back and all one shot, and it's not good to do that. You want to just stay where you're at. Now, I know it's not going to contradict myself, but if it does hop a tiny bit, it will actually help you grab that ridge. And that's bound to happen a little bit, guys, because once it starts digging into the metal, it's going to jump a little bit. But just be sure it doesn't rip it out of your hand, and that's one of them things. You just have to use a little bit of common sense here. And it's mostly in the feel of your hands, to be honest with you. No matter how long you've been doing this, these things happen. You can see, guys, it's getting there already. I mean, that was a big ridge there. It's already pretty good. And when you start tapering these in, fellas, you're going to have almost your percentages there, like your 90 or your 80%, just by taking these sharp edges and things out. It's going to be just about where it's almost a perfect performance head. The way these guys would do it, and charge big money for it, you're going to have it on your side as far as that goes. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention too, guys. But I just wanted to show how easy this is for the average guy to do this. And that's just going to give you an idea on the bowl. And as far as the exhaust ports go, I marked them also, and it's basically just a high spot in here, fellas. And more than anything, you want to just worry about getting that air to try to stay to the top the runner. That's all you really have to worry about. Off the back of the bowl right here, and out to the top. That's what I worry about, guys. Now, if you want to look at the one I did, I took the guide completely out here, and you can probably see how much difference that is as far as the angle on the roof here. And then down here would be an average kind of a street strip type design, and that's still good for, like, like I said, 6,500 RPM or so. And it's not finished up, guys. I'll just try to give you guys an idea how to do this. But getting back to the exhaust side, it's the same deal. What I wanted to show you guys was this. Look how good this is as far as fitting in there, guys. This is what I mean. This is going to be an easy way for somebody that's never done heads before to do this stuff. Going after the ridge first, guys. That's why I'm back and forth. Don't hit the floor if you can help it. Stay off the floor. Check your work frequently, guys. Make sure you're not getting sideways with the drill or anything like that, because that's easy to do too if you don't pay attention. If you're not used to doing this stuff, it's easy to find yourself where you don't want to be with the drill. I'm actually letting the port guide where I'm going to, fellas. It's actually guiding me where this wants to be. But anybody that has a pair of these heads, you don't have to be afraid of doing them yourself. This is why I'm doing this segment, guys. This is just, it's cake. I've never seen anything easier in my life as far as coming around where there's no rocket science in it. And it's just the easiest head I've ever dealt with. The worst thing about these I had problems with, I didn't show on camera, is that they were pretty pitted from detonation, so they're low compression. I don't know how that came about. Somebody was doing something terrible for that to be all detonation. The way these combustion chambers looked, it was not a good thing. I don't know how the motor was still around. You think it'd be blowed up, but it actually looks in pretty good shape from what I see so far. The same here, guys. With these here, I got these, and they're 1.5 inches. I wanted to show you, fellas. Look how good that contours to that port. All you have to really do, fellas, is just be careful not to get sideways or anything like that, and you're going to have something cleaned up really easy. I mean, all it's in these really, guys, is there's a casting on the floor, which is not a really big deal, and then the same on the roof. That's the one I'd be concerned about. And then there's a sharp edge here, like I highlighted in the pink. And it's not really terrible. So the intake side is nowhere near as crucial with these heads. And if you're just looking for an easy head to do, even if you don't really want to worry about going real fast, these heads here are going to do a trick for you. But let me do this real quick, guys. You can see down in there where I hope the pink highlights it enough for you. And I hope the light's okay in here where it shows up. You never know what shows up on film when I do these segments, guys. You always want to work your way in easy too, fellas. I'm staying towards the top and the sides where I'm at with the drill. Light pressure. And this is a 50 grit disc that I have on here. I can feel where it's starting to be, where I can work my way in a little bit deeper. Nice and smooth. Before we're trying to bond up to catching the excess metal that is ahead of it, where I already found it down right there. So you can see, guys, it's already, most of it's gone. So it doesn't take a lot to do these heads, fellas. And like I said, if you want to pay somebody $1,000, they're gonna knock these out in a day easily. I mean, I can't see it taking but a few hours for somebody who has all the professional head products to do these. Because they're the first ones I've ever done that I've ever made time on, like just playing around with them like this here. I never go and make time like I have with these and get this much where their percentages and stuff are. So I just want to go over this real quick again, guys. Show your percentages. That's already like about a 80, probably around an 80. I haven't checked it, but it's pretty close to that. And one of them things where, sorry guys, I got stuff falling here, my scraper. It's just one of them deals, like I said, guys, depending on your application, what you're trying to do. If it's on the extreme side, then you can do what I did and remove the whole boss out of it, or you can just cut it back to that and do it how anybody else was, bullet nose it. And then you can bullet nose the intake side if you want. And it depends what you guys think works. I mean, you guys that read up on stuff and race have a pretty good idea on things like this. But ones that don't have any idea and would like to try it, and you have a 460 E7 head, fellas, you don't have to let it scare you. So like I said, the only thing you'd have to really be careful of is your seats. And you can actually do these pretty easy without hitting the seat. So, but anyway, guys, I hope this is helpful. It's kind of hard to concentrate and flip the head and hold the phone. And I actually had my better half help hold this while I was trying to get in one of these ports here. So I thank her for that. But have a good night, guys. And I appreciate you checking me out again, fellas. Take care. Have a good night.